Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Friday's editions of Contracting Chatter. How are we doing? Let me tell you, this morning we are going to be brief. It's already on and popping in Chicago. Democratic National Convention is next week. And we know historically, Chicago, DNC, has been special. And yeah. So let's see what we're going to talk about this morning. We're going to do a brief recap this morning. Now, allegedly, let's just get started. We're not even going to do the warm up. Grab your business bestie, your contractor's notebook, your favorite beverage. You might want an aspirin. As I said, this is going to be a short live because I have a doctor's appointment and I need to roll up out of here early. Kamala Harris is allegedly dropping her agenda for her presidency this morning. So as soon as I see it, I get to analyze it. I'm going to bring it to you so you can see what her Pennsylvania Avenue is going to look like for you with in relation to contracts and business. I want to see what it looks like because so far I've seen her mimic some of the things that President Trump has said. Chicago is a mess. Anybody who's a study of history knows, the last time DNC was in Chicago, it was fire. And it's the reason why the DNC created some of its rules, which is if there's a Democratic president, they automatically get the nomination. I'm going to tell you this. That's why the DNC does what people call backroom deals. Is because of some of the things that occurred because of the last time the DNC was in Chicago. Yes. So it's on a popping in Chicago. Chicago is a hotbed. Chicago plays no games. So we'll see. The week started off, we talked about a mindset. We talked about, what is today? Today is Thursday. Woo, it's so, look, I'm a day off. I thought today was Friday. Today's Thursday. But anyway, we're gonna do a recap. She's supposed to drop her platform today. But Monday we talked about mindset. Tuesday, I was a little mellow, I was a little out of it, but we talked about not doing business in isolation. Yesterday, we talked about the 15 points of compliance. Thursday, which is today, I am telling you, you need to piece it all together. I'm working on the workbook for the Contractors Challenge. There's a 30-day version and 90-day version. And I would advise everybody to go 90 days, but you know your pockets. The challenge officially starts October 1st, which is the beginning of the government fiscal year. However, there's some pre-work that begins in September. So your first activity will drop in September. You can register. The challenge is not free. The way the challenge rolls is on Monday, you get a video. On Wednesday, it's Q&A. And on Friday, I'm having what's called open office hours. What is that? Basically, I drop a link, and I'm sitting in that link for a prescribed period of time. You can pop in, ask your question, and pop out. That's the way the challenge is working. You get a pre-recorded video on Monday. I have Q&A on Wednesday and open office hours on Friday. That is why the challenge isn't free. You will have a worksheet to go along with the videos for the contracting challenge. The purpose of the challenge is to help you get your business established. A lot of people want to become government contractors and they only believe that there's one thing you need to do, and that's write a proposal. No. Here's what it takes to become a good government contractor. Do you need to write an effective and efficient proposal? Of course. You need to answer the RFP. But what do you also need to do? You need to maintain and sustain that contract. What does that look like? That's why you need to be in the challenge. You need to pass the audit. How do you pass the audit? You build a business. That's why you need to be in the challenge. That's why you need to be in my community. There's more to government contracting than writing an RFP. Some of these people running around here giving y'all advice on government contracting are giving you incorrect and or incomplete advice in government contracting. And you know what? You can take the easy way. And I'm not saying government contracting is hard. I'm saying there's a methodology. And if you're not applying the correct methodology, you're setting yourself up for turmoil. And who wants to give them your hard-earned money back? Not I. I'm not giving it back. I must keep it. I'm going to flip it. I'm going to take $100 and make it $500. How do you do that? You apply the rules. You stay compliant. Simply put. So, sign up for the Contractors Challenge. You can sign up one of two ways. You can sign up through the registration link that'll be out today, or you can go to the Contractors Training Center and sign up, which will be up today. With that said, this is still going to be an Integrity Live because even though my doctor's appointment is tomorrow, because I got up thinking it was the wrong day, I didn't plan the lesson for today or a talking point for today. However, I was just in a live and it was talking about accountability and responsibility. And what I saw repeatedly were people who could not hold or sustain their points. And it was a great live. And I'm going to go back into the live so I can have something to tune out while I'm working. And what I saw was people defaulting into insults when they could not make their point. Why am I talking about this? I'm talking about this for this point. In business, while you're vetting your business partners, there are certain questions you should be asking, and there are times that you should sit in silence and observe. A lesson that my father taught me is that you can tell how a person is when their words and their actions meet. I'm going to say this again. You can tell how a person is when their words and their actions meet. It's the same in business. When you're attending events, network events, corporate events, whatever, there are times you should speak. That's when you're doing your company introductions. And then there are times when you should sit back and listen. And ask yourself, are their words and their actions meeting? What does that mean? Are they walking together? Do they complement each other? The company ethics is the ethics of their representation meeting. If the answer is yes, then move to the next phase. If the answer is no, then you need to ask yourself, what level on the rungs of management is that person? If they're high up, then perhaps you shouldn't do business with them. If they're towards the middle, then you need to seek a higher up person to see if that person meshes. This is how you vet people when you're doing business or you're seeking to do business with other companies. There's a time you speak because they're vetting you. And there's a time you're silent and you observe because you're vetting them. Vetting in businesses, vetting in business works similarly to vetting in dating. Same thing. There's a time you speak and there's a time you observe. And the vetting process is part speaking and is part observation and is putting the two pieces together to see what the picture is. And a lot of times people enter bad business deals because they're not spending enough time observing and they're spending too much time speaking. I'm going to say it again. A lot of times people get taken advantage of in business deals because they don't spend enough time observing and too much time speaking. I even notice it when I hear people talk about, I hired this coach and they didn't do what they said they were going to do, and I'm never going to hire another coach again. But when you dig deep, because I love to ask clarifying questions. I have a podcast episode on that, and I'm going to do a follow-up on it. When you ask the clarifying questions, they spent the $10,000 with that coach because they acted on a warm fuzzy instead of sitting back and making an observation. I've spent money on a coach and I didn't get what I was supposed to get. Matter of fact, it was a $10,000 lesson. Did I hire another coach? I've hired 3 coaches since then. Do you know why? Because I realized it wasn't that that coach wasn't any good. It was that that coach wasn't good for me in that season. I was just in the wrong season for that coach. Simple. It's like right now, you can work with me for a certain amount of money. 10 years from now, you will not work with me for that same amount of money. You will be working with my team of coaches for that amount of money. Period. Do you know why? Because my business will have scaled to a point I will not be able to serve at that level. 1, 2, to work with me, your business will have to be at a certain stage. However, I'm not leaving that audience behind, so you will work with these coaches. So the question is, did the coach really take your money, or did you not ask enough questions when you hired the coach? For me, I was in the wrong season. I didn't ask the right questions. Now I'm working with the coach that I should have been working with, and I'm reaping the results. So was it a waste of $10,000? At the time, I felt so. Now it was a $10,000 lesson. And now I understand what I was supposed to go through. Now, was it an expensive lesson? Yes. Do I wish I could have learned that lesson a little less expensively? Yes. But the value was in the lesson. But had I sat and matched actions with words, I would have realized before I signed that that wasn't the coach for me. Vetting process. Even strategic partnering Good morning, Sharon. Strategic partnering is in everything. Hiring mentors, hiring coaches, the prime sub agreement, all of that. That's all strategic partnering. And you must always ask yourself the question, what is the, and I hate value, you must always ask the question, why am I partnering with them? What answer are they, what question are they answering? And is it a right now question or is it a future question or is it both? Because sometimes you're partnering with people who are answering a question you already have the answer to. And that is your problem. And then when you realize that you want to say it was the problem of the person you partner with, when you actually partner with the wrong person. I know somebody's saying that doesn't make sense. So let me say it again. Some people are partnering with people. You're hiring the wrong coach, you're hiring the wrong mentor, you're joint venturing, you're getting into a subprime agreement with companies, entities, individuals that are answering a question or solving a problem that you already had solved. And when it doesn't work, instead of sitting there analyzing the situation and realizing you just picked the wrong the partner, or you signed the wrong agreement, you're saying you were lied to. No, you picked the wrong problem. You had already had that solution. So the problem was you in business. You already had that solution in house, which is why I always say, what is the question you're answering? And do you already have that answer in house? If you do, then that is not the partnership you need to go into. That's why it's called strategic partnering. Strategic partnering is about forming partnerships with companies, individuals who are filling a void you do not have. You need an accountant. You are not an accounting firm. So you partner with an accountant. I made that analogy because an accountant came through my feed. Good morning, Dwayne. But if you are a finance person, you're not going to partner with another finance person unless you just signing a major mega contract and you can parse out the work. But that's something else. Does that make sense? But when we up level in business, we have to realize, and that's that mindset shifting that we have to do. We have to realize that the beginning and the end is always us. And taking responsibility for your decisions and actions is not the same as taking responsibility for somebody else's. And with that said, I need to finish getting this contractors challenge sign up and running everywhere today. So be on the lookout for it. And I will more than likely go live tonight on my YouTube channel. So subscribe to YouTube channel LTA Consulting Group, because if they really do drop their presidential agenda, I'm going to talk about it. So we're going to see. Chicago seems to be on fire. We're gonna see how this turns out. Remember, I'm covering the DNC next week from a business perspective. If you want politics, go somewhere else. But I do want to make this one point. I was listening to the news yesterday, and they were talking about the Trump and the Kamala platform, and they're tied in the polls apparently. And I really believe that they're tied for they're not, neither party is making headways for the same reason. Although one has released their platform and one hasn't, nobody is really giving the people what they want. And I'm getting ready to tie this around to a business analogy. So just walk with me a little bit. Neither party is giving the people what they want. And that's all it is. So people feel like they're either going to sit it out or choose just do what they've always done in vote history. Don't be like that in your business. When you're presenting yourself to your market, stand out. Make yourself a stellar choice by talking about the things nobody else is talking about. Position yourself in a way that people are saying, I want to know more. I know it can be frustrating to open the doors and you not get a sale because everybody makes it sound like I started my business on Monday and I was a millionaire in 90 days. Okay, those are ads. I saw one on TikTok the other day. I started using AI and I made my first $30,000 in 60 days. Highly doubt it. And even if they did, they probably have been in business for 5 years. So was it AI or they've already put 5 years in the game? You get where I'm going? Polish your message. Polish your service. When you submit that RFP, your capability statement, when you show up to the networking events, when you introduce yourself to the small business liaisons officers, the contracting officers, the procurement officers. If you're in my community and you attended Contracting and Business Week, you'll know to do this. Ask the questions nobody else is asking. Stand out and make yourself known. Make yourself the differentiates, the difference. So that you're not 50-50 and they have to toss a coin. Does that make sense? You don't want to be tied with 85 days to go. You want to come out the gate strong and solid. And people say, I remember you. Because when they picked up your proposal, they said, I remember meeting her at. I remember her email. I remember talking to her, him, whatever. You get what I'm saying? Be stellar, be standout, make a difference. And that means attending these networking events. That means be different. And being different means learning things that your competitors aren't learning. And with that, I'll see you guys tomorrow morning. I'll do an Integrity Live before I hop out to the doctor's office. And I'll probably see you guys tonight on my YouTube channel. Have an amazing day. And remember, there's always a compliance factor.